April Fool's Day 2010 marked the supposed release date of a trailer for a new version of Minecraft called Minecraft 4D, with Notch tweeting out this: "Stupid move cutting into my April Fool's time. I was going to announce Minecraft in 4D. Just pretend like I did it or something." Considering this was in 2010, a whole year before the actual release of Minecraft 1.0, I don't think anyone who wants Minecraft in 4D should be expecting anything anytime soon. 2011 was a significantly more interesting year in terms of April Fool's Day pranks from Mojang. It saw the release of the Minecraft store. No, not that one, this one. To get to the store, the player would find random locked chests called Steve Co supply crates that they needed the user to purchase a key to open them. If you clicked to go into the store, then it would show that you can buy a key for $3 or a pack of 5 keys for $18. As well as the keys, the store featured various other products such as a name change for $99, creeper saddle for $42, a miner's helmet for $21. Ironically, there was also a response from support for $494, which with the state of Minecraft support nowadays seems like a fair price. All in all, this entire April Fool's joke aged like milk, as Microsoft did actually end up adding a store to Minecraft, with only slightly lower prices and also slightly worse products. 2012 saw the announcement of a new game on a hoax website going by the name Mars Effect, which was a blatant nod towards the already existing game Mass Effect. This is likely to be a nod towards a previous lawsuit between Mojang and Bethesda over Mojang's game Scrolls being too similar to Bethesda's Elder Scrolls game. However, this supposed hoax may have been an April Fool's prank, but as the website tells us, the only thing about this that was a prank was the name, as the game did end up becoming a thing, only under a different name, which apparently is pronounced 10 to the C. It was meant to be a space-themed sandbox game, however, after over 2 years of waiting, the game was indefinitely shelved, with Notch stating that it could be made in the future if any Mojang employees were interested in continuing its development. 2013 was the release of the first April Fool's update, and it by far made some of the most drastic changes to the game ever seen in an April Fool's update. First of all, it added a pink wither that does essentially the opposite of a normal wither, healing surrounding mobs, being attracted to sugar, and bone mealing nearby blocks. They could be spawned in by placing a pink wall block and then placing a flower pot on top with a rose in it. Then there were the diamond chickens, that rarely spawned instead of normal chickens and laid diamonds and lapis instead of eggs. There was also a new NBT tag that applied to mobs like sheep and cows called fatness. This is literally what it says on the tin. And if that wasn't enough damage to sheep for one update, feeding them a golden apple also makes them fly. If you thought that this doesn't sound too bad for a survival playthrough, then you need to see these other features. Torches are no longer infinite and burn out over time. Furnaces can explode if they are used for a long time, burning everything around it. Chickens are now neutral mobs, spawning reinforcements when killed and attacking the player when looked at. Droppers are renamed to floppers, and any item dropped out of them are changed into raw fish instead. And if that wasn't enough, there was also a super hostile mode that happens every 2 to 5 minutes that firstly spawns lightning bolts on the player, then spawns highly powerful mobs that can have enchanted diamond armor, charged creepers and blazes. Also, blocks can talk now. 2014 had a simple but effective prank. All skins turned to villager skins for the whole day and couldn't be changed back until April Fool's was over. Oh, and all the sounds in the game changed to Element Animation's villager voices for the entire day. 2015 saw the release of a snapshot called 15W14A, supposedly for the 1.10 update, titled the Love and Hugs update. It added things such as a love meter on top of the XP bar that filled up when the player takes damage or when left clicking mobs. If you collected 8 lines of hearts, then it unlocks a game called Minesweeper, which is literally just an in-game version of Minesweeper that you can play that even has a cheat code. Dungeons were turned into houses made out of quartz blocks and could sometimes spawn with crafting tables and furnaces. Obsidian boats are added, but instead of being able to float on lava like some mods have included, they just sink in water. On a super flat world, near the coordinates 0, 0, snow would form in a weird way on the ground. And if you opened up a map, you would see that the snow actually made a QR code. Scanning the QR code creates the text Minecraft 1.9, the combat update, which was the first time that the name of the new update had been revealed. Also, lava was renamed to Liquid Cheese. For 2016's April Fool's, Mojang released Java Edition 1.rv Pre-1, which was a pre-release for an update titled the Trendy Update, which added lots of modern features such as a USB charger block, a smartwatch, and an ankle monitor. The USB charger block was essentially just a reskinned redstone block that produced a redstone signal. However, the rest of the new items were a lot cooler. For example, the smarter watch showed the time above the hotbar when equipped in the offhand, and the ankle monitor gave the user slowness 1 when equipped and couldn't be taken off. There was also a VR headset called the Reality Vision that showed a 3D minimap and activates a shader when equipped. The signs also looked like monitors and displayed the word obey when looking at them through reality goggles. 2017 didn't give us another fake snapshot, but it did see the hoax announcement of a Minecraft handheld console called the Minecraft Digital Leisure Device, a play on the Nintendo Game & Watch. In the teaser for it, it was advertised as the greatest digital leisure device on the planet with the highest quality pixels on the planet. The whole thing was a play on a 90s advert, although some people weren't too happy that there was no snapshot that year. The year after, however, also didn't see a new snapshot for April Fools. Instead, Mojang revamped all of the Java Edition textures. The official website described them as being basically real, being a reason for eyes, and the future, but whether these are true or not is debatable. The textures themselves have been made in an 8-bit colour scheme, so they essentially look like the textures in some NES game from the 80s. Once again, people complained about the texture changes even though they were only for one day. After 2 April Fool's Days with no snapshot, 2019 finally saw the release of a new April Fool's update. Sticking with the retro theme that the previous April Fool's Days had been using, they released Minecraft 3D, a play on a 90s game. According to Mojang, they had found a copy of the game in the Mojang basement. It features completely retro sounds, extra pixelated graphics, and a weird new 2D rendering for all entities. When you load up the game, it plays this. This is an obvious reference to the Sega intro for games. Similar to most games of the 90s, this one even featured cheat codes with various references to other games and media. For example, the cheat code "How do you turn this on" summons a super fast horse for the player to ride. This is in reference to the game Age of Empires 2, in which the same cheat code can be used to summon a fast Cobra car. Another cheat code is the Pigs on the Wing code that gives flight, which is a reference to the Pink Floyd song by the same name. In total, there are 8 cheat codes, all of which are references to other things. Barrels also spawn all over the world that contain good loot for the player. However, if they are completely emptied when the player closes them, they explode. All in all, this is probably one of the better April Fool's updates they have done, and they only get better from here. 2020's April Fool's Day was titled 20W14 Infinite, a snapshot for the supposed ultimate content update. The snapshot included essentially infinite new dimensions and biomes that could be accessed by throwing a written book into a nether portal, with the dimension changing depending on what was written in the book. The dimensions can be made out of any block in the game, have random particle effects, random mob spawns, random world types, and random lighting. However, not all of the dimensions were random. There were also 43 hard-coded Easter egg dimensions that could be accessed either by doing the /warp command or by throwing a book containing a specific word into a nether portal. For example, the word content would send you to an empty dimension that had a small skyblock island near spawn, with a chest containing basic items needed in a skyblock. The island itself is potentially meant to resemble the YouTube gaming logo, hence the name content. Another dimension is the credits dimension that is empty apart from the entire credits of Minecraft built out of netherite. A cooler dimension is the retro dimension that is just a black landscape with green grid lines with purple lighting that is meant to resemble the vaporwave aesthetic. This was arguably the best April Fool's update they have released so far. According to some people, however, 2021 saw the worst April Fool's update for Minecraft in recent years, and it's easy to see why. Mojang released a program called Minecraft Plus, which sounds similar to the names of past April Fool's updates. However, all the program was a collection of Minecraft-themed screensavers that could also be run in the browser. Refreshing the website gave you a different screensaver, but other than that, there wasn't really any other features to it. However, if you think about it, this could be a multi-layered April Fool's prank, since the community were expecting another cool update like the year before, yet got a few screensavers instead. Mojang seemed to have learnt from the previous April Fool's Day, as 2022 saw an actual snapshot titled the One Block at a Time update that removed the inventory from the game. All you could do is hold a single item at a time, which explains the name. All items in the game could be placed down as blocks in the world or thrown, which depending on the block and where you throw it could change the block itself. For example, throwing an iron ore block into sulfire transforms it into a block of iron instead. Or ice melting and turning into water when thrown into lava, fire or magma blocks. You can also pick up mobs since you can't actually damage them using your fists. Instead you have to throw them to hurt them. Some of the mobs that you pick up let you use their features, with skeletons and strays shooting arrows when you hold them, witches throwing potions, and spiders allowing you to climb walls. Explosions are also changed, as instead of breaking blocks, the blocks are just launched instead. 2023 thankfully saw a snapshot released, titled 23W13A or B, the vote update. In it, the player can choose to vote for a number of different things to happen to the world, such as new blocks, items or game rules. These votes include things like the always flying rule that has the description, according to all known laws of aviation there is no way a mob should be able to walk. That, when voted for, makes all entities fly as if they had an elytra on. There was also bee loons that made bees fly a lot higher when on leads, and if the player had 3 or more, the bees would start to drag the player up. The big head mode, which just increases the size of the player's head. The big moon, which increases the size of the moon, can be done several times to further increase the size of the moon. However, this makes things get pulled by the moon's increasing gravity depending on the time of the day. And they added a vote for a dream mode that increases the chance to receive ender pearls from piglin bartering, decreased the chance of eyes of ender breaking, added looting to mob drops and added fortune to block drops. It's quite obvious what this is a reference to. Increasing the size of the moon wasn't the only moon related thing that Mojang added, as they added an entire moon dimension along with the rest of the features. You could get there by going to Y700 in the overworld, and when you arrived you would notice that the moon is actually made of cheese. These cheese blocks could be eaten similarly to a cake, except that you choose which part of the block that you eat, meaning you can create vertical slabs and sideways stairs out of cheese. In previous April Fool's updates, Mojang has released features that actually end up coming to the game. So this cheese block could be the gateway to getting vertical slabs in the vanilla game.